Welcome back, everybody, to the Nerdcore Podcast, the podcast reviews movies and talks that nerd shit. This is episode 715, and it is the beginning of horror month here on the Nerdcore Podcast as we discuss Takashi Miike's Audition. As always, this is the Nerd Chicana here to host the show alongside my wonderful co-host Brad Young Yoda.
What's up, everybody? We're going to a wonderful Monday. Monday. We made it.
Yeah,
We made it through yesterday.
yeah. Um, yeah, we did, and Brad still has to do some stuff tonight. So
Yeah.
have fun with that, Brad.
Yep.
But oh well, we're getting it done, right? That's the thing that matters. We're getting it done.
Trying anyway.
Fine. But Brad, um, before anybody even wonders, this is not my choice. This is not my pick. Brad actually won the
Coin toss.
the coin toss, which now happens off stream, guys. I'm sorry. They happen off camera, so but yeah, Brad won the coin toss, and this is his first pick. So yeah, before anybody starts to ask, like, what the fuck, Brad? He made you watch this? Nope, was not me
No,
at all.
I will come to Raul's aid and say yes, this was my choice. I've been wanting to watch this movie for a while.
Yeah. So, Brad, this episode is live early and ad-free to everybody on the $1 tier and above on our Patreon, on patreon.com/nerdcore, for you to get this episode live so you can chat with us early and ad-free without the ad on Tuesdays at 12 p.m. Central Time. You can go over to patreon.com/nerdcore to chat with us. But before we can get into the review, Brad, what's up, man? How are you doing today?
I have no energy. I am dead.
What time did you fall asleep last night?
Probably between 11:15 and 11:30.
1:30 my time.
Yeah. So I finished the movie at 11. Yeah. And I got up at 4:40. So
What did Brenda say? She's like,
Brenda's like, I'm going to bed. Bye.
yeah.
That's
And you're like, you're the reason this fucking happened. You're like, you're the reason I'm fucking watching this right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, if I had it my way, I could have been watching this right after Penguin review.
Yeah, I could have totally done that.
Yeah. But yeah. You love your wife, Brad.
I do.
Yeah. You want to make her happy.
Indeed. It's easier that way.
Yeah. It tends to be. I went ahead and I just I didn't do much. I just streamed today. That's all I did. Played a little bit of Resident Evil 3, which is a lot of fun. I'm really liking it.
That's good.
The first ever Resident Evil game I've ever played.
Really?
Yeah. But that was of what's it called? Recommendation from Keon. He told me to play.
What did that one debut on?
I believe PS3. I don't know. Resident Evil 3, because 2 was for the PS2.
Okay.
PlayStation. Nah, that's not true.
Those are lies.
It's not for 2020.
The PS Vita.
This was available on the PlayStation 4, Windows, Xbox One, PlayStation 5, X Series, Series X, and S, X and S, and Nintendo Switch.
Okay, so PS4.
Yeah, so this dropped on PS4 because this was from 2020. Oh, okay. What the fuck? Wait, do the Resident Evil games not go? Oh, okay. Resident Evil 3 is a remake of Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, which Nemesis dropped on the PlayStation 1, the Windows, Dreamcast, and the GameCube in 1999.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. So that's why Keon told me to play this one. Okay. Yeah. I was like, wait, they didn't fucking release this before? I was like, what the fuck? Yeah. So yeah. What a game so far. And just like on Jedi Survivor, the bosses are kind of fucking hard. What a great time. But yeah, that's pretty much all I did today, Brad. Tomorrow I got to go in for my X-ray, but when I come back, I'll stream again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hope everything was all right.
Yeah, man. Hope so too. But yeah, dude. Other than that, I watched this film. Literally, I just finished it literally 10 minutes ago. I mean, I've watched this movie before.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, but I wanted to get a refresher. Which also reminds you, I should probably get this on Blu-ray soon because this one is is available on Blu-ray. But yeah, without further ado, Brad, you want to get into this?
Sure.
So, if you have not watched Audition, you should probably get out of here if you care about spoilers. But if you don't care about spoilers or you've already seen the film, go ahead and stay. Either way, how it goes is your one and only spoiler warning, and it is in effect in a 5. Oh my god, 4. Sorry, my nose itches. 3, 2, 1. Today's episode of the Nerd Court is brought to you by SeatGeek. Whether you want to see your favorite band, sports team, or comedian, SeatGeek has you covered. We're proud to be partnering with SeatGeek to offer you $10 off your first order with code TheNerdCourt. That's $10 off your first order at SeatGeek.com with code THENERDCORPS. So take a seat at your next live event with SeatGeek. Thank you. Now let's get back to today's video. All right, Brad, this is your pick. So without further ado, Brad, introduce him to Takashi Miike's Audition.
Okay. Audition is a 1999 Japanese horror film directed by Takashi Miike and adapted by Daisuke Tengan, based on the 1997 novel by Ryo Murakami, starring Ryo Ishibashi and Ihi Shina. The film is about a widower, Shigeharu Aoyama Ishibashi, who stages a phony audition to meet a potential new romantic partner. After interviewing several women, Aoyama becomes interested in Asami, whose dark past affects their relationship. Audition was originally a project of the Japanese company Omega Project, who wanted to make a horror film after the massive financial success of their previous production, Ring. The company purchased the rights to Murakami's book and sought Tengen and Miike for an adaptation. The cast and crew consisted primarily of previous Miike collaborators, with the exception of Shina, who had worked as a model prior to her career in film. The film was shot in about 3 weeks in Tokyo. Audition premiered with a few other Japanese horror films at the Vancouver International Film Festival, but it received increased attention when screened at the Rotterdam International Film Festival in 2000, where it received the Fipresci Prize and the KNF Award. Following a theatrical release in Japan, the film continued to play at festivals and had theatrical releases in the United States and United Kingdom, followed by several home media releases. Audition was received positively by Western film critics on its release, with many noting the final torture sequence and its contrast with the non-horrific scenes before. The film has appeared on several lists of the best horror films ever made and has had an influence on other horror films and directors, including Eli Roth and the Soska sisters. And let's see what we got here. We got cinematography by Hideo Yamamoto, edited by Yasushi Shimamura, music by Koji Endo, and running time 113 minutes with a box office of $131,296 in the United States.
Brad, can you imagine, Eli Roth watching this and being inspired to end up making the crap he makes?
It's like, yes, I'll make some genius horror films and then just blow torches a poor girl's face. Yeah, that seems about right.
It's like you completely missed
the point. You completely missed the first half of the film.
Yeah,
you just went straight to the end.
Yeah, but yeah, man, Brad, I'm gonna go ahead and go to you, man. I want to hear your initial thoughts on Audition.
So I enjoyed this movie. I gotta say, I don't think it was as cringe and horrific as like I had heard before. The ending certainly was something different, but I was reading a few articles before on this. And I have to agree with one reviewer who said the beginning part seems almost like a Ozu movie. Like it's scenic and has that story of like a family story of the mother dying of cancer. And it like opens and it kind of slow, meandering, kind of just, a regular Ozu story. Almost to the point of almost boring. Or not much happening. It's just the family story. They got a puppy and, just a worker. And then it devolves into these scenes of where people, I mean, you're like losing your mind. Like they're doing time jumps. They're doing reality checks and you don't know what's what at the end of this movie. And it leaves you kind of like just awestruck in how you went from a very tame kind of benign movie into what you have at the end. And I thought it was quite well done.
Yeah. I've seen this movie a second time now, and I have to say that I fucking love this movie. It's one of my favorite horror films of all time, and I think it's probably one of the best Japanese horror films I've ever seen. Um, it's an essential feminist film that we go into a massive discussion about that on the Cinema Condition episode I did with Leah Burns, which I would plug. It's season 1, episode 3, season 1, episode 3. So or I think it's 9. I'm not sure. It's one of those early episodes, but we discussed this, and this movie has a lot to say about this, what's it called, women in Japanese culture. And I mean, you look at the premise, Brad. A guy, his wife dies, and he wants a new wife. He needs a woman in the house.
Yeah.
Ideally, that's what he means. He's like, I need a woman in the house. My house is not the same without a woman in there. um so he sets up an audition to find his new wife disguised as like trying to make a movie.
I mean, which is, I mean,
Kind
that's
of
questionable. That's questionable at its premise.
pretty questionable, huh?
Yeah.
It's like, dude,
Uh,
you couldn't go to a bar?
yeah. I mean, you couldn't just like not basically lied. I mean, not even making a movie, which that gets them in trouble at the end. But I have to say that you have two characters here, both that have traumatic pasts. You have
Yeah,
one, the father, who's older. Um, well, the I guess the guy in the relationship who's older, and
yeah,
his wife dies, and very traumatic. But he has his son to cling to. And then you
yeah,
have this other character, and she has no one. She has been abused throughout her childhood, and she just feels like this guy's another abuser.
yeah,
And you see the difference when you have something to cling to, and then there's no one there.
yeah. And it also shows like the control that's been held over her, and what finally happens when that control is gone.
Yeah.
And I mean, those last 20 minutes, Brad. Those last 20 minutes are like her just going like, like she's
or
like,
or the deeper
oh
like
yeah,
I don't think
ka-ding,
it's
ka-ding.
translated right, but it's
Yeah,
yeah.
ka-ding, ka-ding, ka-ding.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
Yeah, it gets a little
yeah.
little
Shades of
creepy there.
of Hellraiser with the pins and the
Yeah, the
needles,
pins
right?
pins in the eyes, and
Yeah,
into the stomach, and just the chopping off legs. But even before all that, you got multiple murders going on. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know what happened. Well, they don't really show what happened to her parents.
No,
I mean, I can safely say they're probably dead.
more
Um,
than likely.
More than likely. But I have to say, some of the saddest scenes is where she's waiting at the phone.
Yeah,
Like this woman is literally just sitting there for days waiting for the phone to ring.
yeah. And then of course were you expecting that with who was in the sack?
No, I mean, I didn't know what I was, because they use, there's like a great the sound design in this is really great, because it's like a lion roar when that sack moved, so you don't know, like throughout
Yeah,
like you can guess, like I was kind of guessing there was the missing dude in
yeah,
there of some sort, and there was. I guess it was the record studio exec,
yeah,
maybe, or the bar owner. I think the bar owner
yeah.
was dead.
That's the
So
only scene, man, with the throw up. That's like, because everybody brings up like, oh man, this is a really brutal movie, and I'm like, eh. To me, In My Skin got under those last 10
oh
minutes of
yeah.
In My Skin got
Oh
worse. To
yeah.
me, were worse
No,
than this.
those like, this was tame kind of in comparison to that,
Yeah,
with the body
yeah,
horror kind of gore thing. I mean, them showing like his foot being cut off, yeah,
yeah.
a little
I
unnerving,
love
but
how she throws it at the window. By the way, she's like,
yeah,
she with that big smile on her face. Like,
yeah.
Brad, I'm sorry. Like, she's such a fucked up character, but I fucking love that woman, bro.
I
Like,
mean,
she absolutely goes into this animalistic, joyous child when she's like trying to cut off the
yeah,
foot.
cut off the foot, and then I just have to say, I knew that dog was gonna die
Yeah,
the minute it was on screen, and it
yeah.
was in the behind scenes
I
running
wonder if the
everywhere. I'm like, I knew that dog was gonna die. I just absolutely knew.
I was gonna look it up on Does the Dog Die to see if it's in there. Um, but yeah, dude, it's
Oh yeah, no, the dog's dead. Like they
yeah.
showed it.
No, I mean you never heard of the dog does the dog die .com?
Oh
It's
no,
this website with like triggers and stuff, but it was mostly started as like as a website to tell you where what movies included animals dying.
got it. Okay, I guess
So
I
I
did
wanted to
not know
see
this.
if they made one for audition where it
Audition, which
shows
they
where
should.
yeah. But yeah, it's a web. I don't agree with this website. I think it's kind of dumb, but that's a different kind of discussion for another day. But one that I'm not gonna get on here. But what's it called? Yeah, I was that poor dog, bro. Poor dog. But you know she's and also you notice how there's this what's it called the whole like thing about like, oh, have you made love to her yet, have you fucked her yet, and all those things, like kind of like this fear of like the female sexuality in a way too.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of get that feeling when they're at that beach hotel, and
Yeah,
he's almost scared to like
yeah,
to come towards her while she's naked in the bed.
yeah,
And I mean, this guy, I don't know if this guy had been intimate ever since his wife died. I think maybe with that one coworker, because in that dream sequence or whatever the hell we went through,
yeah,
he ends up having sex with that one coworker in the very beginning who tells him that she's getting married.
yeah, the one on the staircase.
Yeah,
Yeah. And oh man, I love in that moment where she's on her when what's it called when the girl's on her knees and you're kind of flashing between like the wife and her and you're just like,
yeah.
oh
The
fuck,
wife, her
the coworker.
coworker, and then the son's girlfriend.
Yeah, yeah. Great editing there. I
Yeah.
love the editing in that scene.
Oh, I
But
love the jump cuts in this because it takes it into a whole, to a mind fuckery place.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh man,
Because you end up not knowing what's real. Like he
yeah.
literally like you go from
He
one
wakes
minute,
up in that room.
yeah, where she saw on his phone, he wakes up in the room and he's dousing in water and she's like so happy, and to be proposed to by him to her. And then he wakes up again and no, he's got needles in his stomach's eyes, and we're like,
Yep, yep. By the way, Brad, that spray was pepper spray, right?
I don't know what that spray. I think that spray was like knockout gas or something.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because I love how she was like, like
Yeah,
she was
and,
like at
but
that point she was playing. That was she was the prey. I mean predator, and that was her prey,
yeah, but that
and she
kid,
was just playing with it.
that kid didn't skip leg day. I tell you what,
No, bro,
that
no.
that that
Sent her
kid
flying.
kicked her fucking. I don't think she hit the stairs. I think she just flew and hit the ground.
Just it was a mat. It was like straight shot into the neck, Brad.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
but the ending of that where she's going through, and it's like she had a script that she
yeah,
was saying, and she's saying it to him again, and I'm just like,
yeah,
dear God, this is not only a horror movie. This is a psychological thriller.
yeah. It's a great movie, Brad. So why this one, Brad? Why did you choose it? That should
I
be my last thing before we go
I
into the
I've
final verdict.
always I've known about this movie for a long time. Um, and anytime you look up what's the best horror movie, Audition is always on the list.
Yeah,
It's always on the list, and so that's why I chose it, because
yeah,
it's one of those movies, horror movies I had not seen yet, and it's something different from like the Freddy Kruegers and the Jasons,
yeah,
Michael Myers. It's something different, and we include one of those. Oh, at least I picked one. I picked Texas Chainsaw Massacre
yeah,
for later in the month. But this is kind of different,
yeah,
and it's from like a Japanese psychological horror,
yeah.
and I thought that was really cool, and I thought it'd be really cool to start it out for this month.
What's your final verdict, Brad?
I'm going to give this a 9.5 out of 10. I think it's that good.
Yeah, I give this about a 9.25 out of 10, Brad. One of my favorite movies of all time. One of the best films I've ever seen. Best horror films, best Japanese horror
I
films. I
just,
mean, this is essential.
I
It's nowhere near as brutal as you would think.
no,
There's some stuff. If you can't stomach throw up like I can't, fuck, that scene does
yeah.
get kind of get under your
She
skin.
baby birded that dude.
Yeah,
But I love how it gives you this false sense of security in the beginning. It lulls you into like, oh, this is this is just even flow movie. And then towards the end, it's like, now I'm going to hit you in the head with a hammer.
No, yeah. I've never seen anything else from Takashi Miike. I do have another one that I can watch from him called Ichi the Killer, which I've heard is also very brutal. So he's a very different director. He makes a lot of action films. He makes crime films. He makes these horror films as well. So he's very versatile. But he's one of those names in Japan where it's like he's very well known for like his action and his crime stuff, but like his horror stuff is really what stands out the most. Yeah.
At least, this did for sure.
Yeah. And of course, that concludes our review of Audition. As always, we want to thank you guys so much for joining us here at the Nerdcore. As always, you can check us out at thenerdcore.com, Twitter at the Nerdcore, Instagram, Letterboxd, and TikTok at the Nerdcore, Patreon.com/the Nerdcore. Discord link is in the description below, so you can chat with us about Audition. Of course, we would also appreciate if you leave a like and subscribe to our channel here on YouTube and click the notification bell so you don't miss a single video that drops on the channel. Also, make sure that you leave a comment. Tell us what you think about Audition. Is it one of the best horror films, or do you think that this is just brutal to be brutal and it doesn't have much to say, which I really do disagree with you. And make sure that you leave a 5-star review on your favorite podcast app of choice and follow us on that app. All of that helps us out so much, and it really is a lot more helpful than you would think. And of course, thank you to our Patreon supporters. Without them, none of this is possible. And you guys are wonderful people. You guys get this live, early, and ad free for just $1, and it sure is what's called worth that dollar, man. Not one casting couch in sight. No, not at all.
Not
No.
one, Stacy.
No. But of course, Brad, can you tell them about our wonderful executive producer, Shane?
You can follow our friend Shane at twitch.tv/XSRK or on Twitter at ThriftedIL, or go buy something from the Subby God at dpop.com/Prison City Vintage.
And as always, we'll be back for another episode. We are going to be doing that one live, early, and ad-free on Thursday on patreon.com/nerdcore for $1 a month. And then it'll be live for everybody on Saturday at 12 p.m. Central Time. Right now, we're not entirely sure when it'll happen for their Patreon, but right now the plan is Thursday. But if it changes, we will let you guys know. But of course, without further ado, Brad, let's go ahead and send them out of here.
All right, our old theme host as always. Thank you to Stacy for joining us at the end here. Thank you to our listeners out there, our Patreon supporters. We appreciate each and every one of you. And to end this episode is, if you're gonna date, like, don't set up a fake audition and then make the woman mad when she doesn't get picked and she thinks you just wanted, to have sex. That's just not the way to go. Go to a bar.
Yeah.
Buy a girl a drink.
Yep.
You can go out.